Hey there, and welcome back. We're diving deep into something I think we all struggle with a bit. Saying no, like setting boundaries, super important, right?
Yeah.
But like putting it into practice
Totally.
sometimes feels impossible.
Yeah. It's funny how we know we shouldn't overcommit,
Right.
but then we end up saying yes to things that just drain us.
And then we're like, why am I so stressed?
Exactly. It's like we're programmed to please people.
Even if it makes us miserable.
Yeah. Even if it means sacrificing our own goals.
So how do we fix it?
Mm.
How do we get good at saying no without like becoming hermits or feeling guilty all the time?
I think the first thing is a perspective shift.
Ooh, interesting. Tell me more.
It's not about being selfish or rejecting people.
Oh, yeah.
It's realizing that our time and energy, they're valuable.
Right.
And we get to choose how we spend them.
Yeah, I like that. It's about setting boundaries
Right.
so we can be our best selves.
Exactly. It's about taking back control.
Okay, so if I'm picturing this right, it's like saying no is an investment
It can be, yeah.
in ourselves and what matters to us.
Think of it this way. Your time is like a bank account.
Ooh, I like this analogy.
Every yes is a withdrawal.
Okay.
Keep saying yes without thinking.
Uh-oh.
You'll be bankrupt.
And then what? No energy, no time for anything.
Right. Maybe you're saying no to that passion project.
The one that's been sitting there forever.
Or time with your family, even just sleep.
Wow. Yeah, no sleep is not good. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
But why is it so hard to actually say the word no? It's just 2 letters.
It's all those fears we have.
Oh, yeah, like what?
Worrying about disappointing people.
Nobody wants to do that.
Or damaging relationships.
Makes sense.
Missing out on stuff, FOMO.
Ah, yes, the dreaded FOMO.
Or just seeming difficult.
Like nobody wants to be that person.
Right.
And then there's the whole people-pleasing thing.
Huge one. A lot of us struggle with that.
Yeah, wanting everyone to like us.
It's often this deep need for approval.
Or maybe just avoiding conflict.
Right. And recognizing those fears, that's huge.
So self-awareness is step 1.
Because then you can start to challenge those fears.
Okay, so once we know what we're up against, how do we actually say no?
Yeah. How do we make it graceful?
Yeah, and effective, right?
There are a bunch of approaches.
Okay, give me the goods.
One classic is the sandwich method.
The sandwich method.
Yeah. You start with positive, then your no, then another positive.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How does this sandwich work?
Say a coworker asks you to take on a new project.
And you're already swamped.
Right. You could say, I really appreciate you thinking of me, but I'm super busy right now.
Okay.
But let's check back in a few weeks.
So you're acknowledging them, but still setting a boundary.
Right. It softens the blow.
I like it. Less like a flat-out rejection.
It's more consider it.
What else?
You could offer an alternative.
Ooh, like a different solution?
Exactly. Say, your friend invites you to a concert.
Okay, but I'm exhausted.
You could be like, thanks for the invite, but I need a chill night.
Okay.
How about brunch next weekend?
So you're not just saying no, you're offering something else.
You're still honoring your needs, but being thoughtful.
I feel like I'm learning so much already. What other no tricks are there?
Sometimes, honestly, just a polite no works.
Seriously. Just like that.
Yeah, you don't always need a big explanation.
Like, thanks for asking, but I can't.
Exactly. Clear and direct.
Okay, what if I need a minute to think?
Then there's the not right now strategy.
Ooh, tell me more.
So your boss asks you to do something new.
Okay.
Instead of yes or no, you say, I need to check my schedule first.
Oh, smart.
Can we talk tomorrow?
It buys you time without sounding dismissive.
You're not saying no, but you're not committing either.
Okay, all this is making sense, but in real life,
It's tougher.
it
Yeah.
feels way harder.
Saying no takes practice.
Like working a muscle?
Start with small no's.
Like what?
Saying no to that extra slice of cake.
Oh, okay.
Or skipping that social event you don't really want to go to.
Little things to build confidence.
It gets easier the more you do it.
I'm already feeling more powerful. But honestly, there are some situations where saying no feels extra scary.
Like what?
Your boss, a close friend, a big client.
Yeah, those feel higher stakes.
How do we handle those without messing things up?
Well, good news is the same principles apply.
Okay.
It's about adapting them to the situation.
So not changing the technique, but customizing it.
Right. Why don't we look at some real world examples?
Yes, let's get specific. How about this?
Yeah.
Your boss asks you to take on a new project, but you're completely swamped.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the winning no move there?
Instead of I guess I can try.
Which just makes you sound unsure.
Right, and sets you up to be, like, overloaded.
I'm probably resentful later.
You could try saying, I appreciate you thinking of me for this, but my plate's pretty full right now.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
If it's a high priority, maybe we could shift some things around to make it work.
Oh, that's smart. So you're not just saying no, you're offering a solution.
You're showing you're a team player, but also being realistic about your capacity.
Exactly. Okay, what about when a coworker asks for help?
Ah, that's a classic.
You want to be helpful, but sometimes it's just not possible.
Instead of that automatic, sure, no problem.
Even when you know it's a problem.
You could say something like, I'd love to help, but I'm up against a deadline right now.
Okay.
Maybe we could brainstorm some other options. Or see if someone else has bandwidth.
That's a much better response. It's honest, but it also shows you're still willing to find a solution.
You're supporting your colleague without overcommitting yourself.
Right. Find that balance is key. Speaking of balance, we've talked a lot about saying no, but what about when we should be saying yes?
Ah, good point. It's not about becoming a no machine.
It's about being intentional. Right.
Exactly, choosing what aligns with our values and goals.
So it's not just, can I do this, but do I want to do this?
Exactly. Does it excite me?
Does it contribute to something bigger?
Does it fit into, like, the big picture of my life?
Those are great questions to ask. But what about, like, capacity? How do we know when we're at our limit and need to start saying no more?
That's where self-awareness comes in.
Okay, tell me more.
Recognizing those signs of burnout.
Like, what are some of those signs?
Feeling constantly drained.
Yeah.
Neglecting your own needs. Things that bring you joy.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Sacrificing sleep, exercise, just to keep up.
Those are definitely red flags.
So if you're feeling overwhelmed all the time, it might be time to step back and reassess.
And start saying no more often.
And remember, saying no isn't just about protecting your time and energy.
It's also about, like, making space for the things that matter.
Exactly. When you say no to the stuff that drains you, you create space for things that light you up.
Love that. It's like decluttering your schedule, your life even.
Making room for the good stuff.
But let's be real. It's not always easy to figure out what to say yes to and what to say no to, right?
Sometimes it feels like we should say yes, even if we don't want to.
Out of guilt or obligation.
It's about shifting that mindset from obligation to empowerment.
Okay, I like that.
Remember, you have the right to choose how you spend your time and energy.
So it's like reclaiming our power.
Exactly. Your no is valid. You don't need to apologize for it.
But what about the guilt? That feeling that we're letting people down when we say no.
That's tough. It often comes from believing our worth depends on pleasing others.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
But here's the truth. You're worthy just because you are you.
Not because of what you do for other people.
Exactly. You deserve to make choices that honor your needs and desires.
So, have you always been this good at setting boundaries, saying no?
You know, I used to be a total people pleaser.
Really?
I said yes to everything, even if it meant sacrificing my own well-being.
I feel like I can relate to that.
It took a toll on me, my health, my relationships. I wasn't happy.
So what changed?
I hit a wall, physically and emotionally. I was burnt out.
Your body was like, enough.
It was a wake-up call. I realized I couldn't keep going like that.
So what did you do?
Started small, saying no to things that drained me,
Okay.
prioritizing my own needs, setting boundaries.
Focusing on things that brought you joy.
Yeah, and it wasn't easy at first.
Did people get upset? Were you riddled with guilt?
There were some awkward moments, but what surprised me was how quickly people adapted.
Yeah. So it's like by setting boundaries, you were teaching them how to treat you.
Exactly. And the more I practiced saying no, the more confident I felt.
It's like taking back control of your life.
Right, making choices that truly align with who I am.
That's so inspiring. It shows that change is possible. But I'm guessing it's an ongoing process, right?
Right, absolutely. It's a journey, not a destination.
Some days are better than others.
The key is to keep practicing, keep learning what works for you.
Any tips for those of us who are just starting out on this journey?
One of the most powerful things is to pay attention to your body.
Our bodies are trying to tell us things all the time.
Notice how you feel when you say yes to something.
Do you feel excited?
Or do you feel like a knot in your stomach?
That's such a good point. It's about tuning into our intuition.
Another tip, start small. Don't try to change everything overnight.
Baby steps.
Exactly.
So like what? Give us some examples.
It could be saying no to an invitation you're not that interested in.
Okay, makes sense.
Or saying no to that extra task at work when you're already overloaded.
Or even that second helping of dessert when you're full.
Exactly. Little things to build those no muscles.
Practice makes right. Or I guess practice makes progress.
Exactly. It's okay to be imperfect. We're all learning.
So before we move on, I have a question for our listeners. Think about one area of your life where you struggle to say no.
Could be at work, in your relationships, even with yourself.
What's one small no you can practice this week?
It doesn't have to be huge, just something to start shifting that dynamic.
Maybe setting a boundary with a colleague or prioritizing some self-care.
Every small no is a step towards reclaiming your power.
And as you practice, you might find that saying no becomes less about deprivation and more about liberation.
It's about creating a life that feels authentic and fulfilling.
Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore even more specific scenarios and give you tools to navigate those tricky situations with grace and confidence. All right, we're back, ready to put all this no knowledge into action.
Time to tackle those real-world situations,
Where things get tricky.
the ones that make us nervous.
Exactly. So let's start with the boss.
Ooh, yeah.
Saying no to a friend is one thing, but the boss,
Definitely different stakes.
how do we handle that without, losing our jobs?
Well, remember, same principles apply. Assertive, respectful, solution-focused.
Okay, good to know.
So picture this. Your boss asks you to lead a new project, but you're already drowning.
Yeah, I've been there. Heart starts racing,
Instead of that shaky, okay, I'll try.
which just makes you sound totally overwhelmed.
Right, and sets you up for failure. Try this. I appreciate you considering me for this, but my workload's pretty heavy right now.
Okay, I like that. Clear and direct.
If this project's a top priority, maybe we could reevaluate my current tasks to make room for it.
Ooh, smart. So you're not just saying no, you're opening up a discussion.
Showing you're a team player, but also realistic about your time.
I'm taking notes. Okay, what about requests from coworkers?
Always a tricky one.
Want to be supportive, but also can't do everything
Right. So instead of that knee-jerk, sure, no problem,
when there's definitely a problem.
I'd love to help, but I'm focusing on meeting a deadline right now. Maybe we could brainstorm some other options or see if someone else has some free time.
That's perfect. Helpful, but still setting boundaries.
And remember, sometimes a simple, I'm sorry, I just don't have the capacity right now, is enough.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Okay, let's talk about friends and family.
Ooh, that's where it gets personal.
Right, like emotions are involved.
And you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Exactly. Say a friend invites you to a party, but you desperately need some downtime.
Instead of that wishy-washy, maybe I can swing by, try this. Thanks so much for inviting me. I really need a chill weekend, but how about we get together next week?
So you're acknowledging the invitation, but prioritizing your needs.
And you're offering an alternative, keeping that connection strong.
That's key. Okay, last scenario. Client requests.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
You want to keep them happy, but also, stay sane.
Balance is key.
Yeah.
Imagine a client asks for something that's just not possible.
Like totally unrealistic given the time frame or resources.
Instead of panicking and agreeing to something you can't deliver, try this. I appreciate the request, but that timeline might be tough given our current scope. Could we discuss a more realistic plan?
You're standing your ground, but also inviting collaboration.
Finding a solution that works for everyone.
Love it. It's amazing how a simple no can make such a difference.
It really can change everything.
Protecting our time, our energy, our sanity.
And in the end, it helps us show up better for the things that do matter.
So to everyone listening, embrace the power of no.
It's not selfish, it's self-care.
Start small, practice, and see how it changes your life.
It might feel uncomfortable at first, but it gets easier.
And remember, saying no isn't about closing doors. It's about opening up space for the things that light you up.
Absolutely. The things that bring you joy, the things that align with your values.
That's what it's all about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the art of saying no.
We hope you feel empowered to create a life you love, a life where your yes means something.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep saying yes to the things that truly matter.